everybody, you're live with New Image College today. Thanks for joining in. Today we are going to go into the chemistry chapter and we're going to talk about the nail drill. But before we start, make sure you have subscribed if you already haven't. Make sure and ding the bell so you get all of our notifications that we send out, and please like the video. Okay. So if you guys want to get your chemistry chapter out, we can read through together. We're going to go into the different chemistries that we work with, the difference between solvents and solutes, chemical overexposure, and a bunch of different stuff. This is a really important chapter considering how, as a professional in this industry, you're working with chemicals every day. So you really have to have a good understanding of what you're working with and what exactly these chemicals and chemistries do. Okay? All right, let's get started. Nail technicians must have an understanding of nail chemistry. Everything around us is made of chemicals. Everything you see or touch, except for light and electricity, is a chemical. Nail plates are 100% chemical, made mostly from chemicals called amino acids. Amino acids are composed of the chemicals carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, hydrogen, and sulfur. This is CHONS. So if you can remember CHONS, you'll always remember carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen, sulfur. Sulfur cross-links create a strong natural nail. Nail plates also contain traces of iron, aluminum, copper, silver, and gold. Everything in the world is made up of energy or matter. Matter takes up space or occupies an area. A book is made of matter. Light, radio waves, and microwaves are examples of things that don't take up space and are not made of matter. They are made of energy. Energy has no substance but can affect matter in many ways. Molecules and elements. A molecule is a chemical in its simplest form. A water molecule can be broken down into hydrogen and oxygen, but it won't be water any longer. Elements are molecules that can't be broken down at all. Oxygen and hydrogen are two of the 106 known elements. Solids, liquids, and gases. Matter exists in a solid, liquid, or a gas. Water can be frozen into a solid, melted into a liquid, and evaporated into a gas or a vapor. When any of these changes takes place, it is called a physical change because the water just changes its appearance. A chemical change does not take place. An example of a chemical change would be burning sugar or paper. Chemical change which makes a black substance. One chemical changes into a completely different chemical. You can't go back to the original substance. Petroleum oil can be converted into vitamin C, acetone can be changed into water and oxygen, and paper can be changed into sugar. Lead can even be turned into gold. Gas and vapors. Vapors are formed when liquids evaporate into the air. So it's really important as a nail tech, when you have your monomer liquids, your acetones, your non-acetones, when you're not using them, always cover them, always have a lid on them. With the dappen dishes, using marbles or bigger, heavier marbles is actually quite popular to place on the dappen dish, and the weight of the marble is good, so you don't knock your chemicals over either. Any substance at room temperature will form vapors. The higher the temperature, the faster the vapors are formed. Vapors will turn back into liquids when cooled. Water, alcohol, and acetones form vapors. Gases only become liquids when they are put under high pressure, like pressurized butane gas bottles, or cooled to sub-zero temperatures. Gases, liquids, and vapors. They're all made of molecules, but are still very different. In a gas, the molecules spread very far apart, and they expand easily. They need to be kept in a sealed container. In a solid, molecules are close together, so they're tightly packed, still very different. And they don't move in a solid, but they vibrate. So they're still moving, they vibrate, but they're not expanding. And in a liquid, the molecules are close together. They slide past one another in a liquid, and they do take on the shape of the container that they're in. A chemical reaction is when a molecule changes chemically. It requires energy from heat or light to occur. Artificial nail enhancements require heat or light energy for the hardening process. We know that to be curing. So when you're curing your gel, or when the polymerization of an acrylic nail is happening, that's happening because of light and heat. A catalyst is a chemical that can make a chemical reaction go faster, so it can speed up the chemical reaction. Nail technicians use catalysts to make sculptured nails. Catalysts are found in both UV gels and monomer liquids. Solvents and solutes. A solvent is anything that dissolves another substance. Solvents are usually liquid. The substance being dissolved is called a solute. Generally, solutes are solids, gels, or oils. And you need to know that water is the universal solvent. So water can dissolve pretty much everything, or dilute pretty much any other chemical. Think about other things that dissolve other substances in nail care. How do we remove acrylic nails? What's dissolving the acrylic nail? Acetone. What's removing nail polish? Non-acetone, polish remover. What are you doing to sanitize surfaces or clean up little bits of oil on bottles or tabletops? Alcohol. So all of those cleaning agents or agents that dissolve are solvents. Now, solvents only dissolve a certain amount of solute before they are saturated. So once the solvent becomes saturated, it becomes inactive. It's not as concentrated. It's not going to work as well. And generally, warming solvents will make them faster acting. Now, when they say warming, that doesn't mean heating with an open flame or fire or heat element. It just means, like say you're soaking your acrylic nails in acetone to remove them. You can place that bowl of acetone in a bigger bowl of boiling water, and that boiling water will heat up the acetone and it'll make it faster acting. The only thing with that is it's going to create more fumes, more vapors, and you're going to breathe that in through your breathing zone. So I don't suggest doing that. The less vapors you breathe in, the better. Adhesion and adhesives. Adhesion is the force of nature that makes two surfaces stick together. Molecules on a surface are attracted to molecules on another surface. An adhesive is a chemical that causes two surfaces to stick together. Glue is an adhesive. Primers are substances that improve adhesion. So you're usually going to be using a primer when you're doing gel enhancements or acrylic enhancements. The primer just makes sure that that chemical adheres to the nail plate. A base coat, a regular base coat is a primer for regular nail polish. You need to use primers for gel polish. Primers are like a double-sided sticky tape. But some primers can be quite corrosive to soft tissue. So when you're using these primers on your clients or yourself, don't saturate so it bleeds into the sidewalls and cuticle. You don't want the primer touching the skin at all. The #1 chemical that causes contact dermatitis, usually with nail techs, is the primer. And that happens on the client and on the esthetician. Okay, so primer should only touch the nail plate and you should use it very sparingly. So you need to know that a primer is a corrosive. A corrosive is a substance that can cause visible and possibly permanent damage. And you never want this to touch the skin. A primer is an acid. Primers will never damage the nail plate. You don't have to worry about that. It's just the surrounding skin around the nail plate. And use it sparingly. You don't need a lot. It can, over time, if you do overuse the primer, it can cause burning, redness, inflammation, and it can actually cause the different layers of the nail plate to start lifting from the matrix area. Okay, so that's under the skin at the cuticle eponychium level. You can use non-acid primers though. Non-acid primers do not burn the skin because they do not contain a certain type of chemical. But you still have to be careful not to touch the soft tissue around the nail. Again, over time, repeated contact with skin could lead to allergies and permanent allergies, meaning whenever you come into contact with that chemical, you will react. And as a nail tech, that's not a good thing. A nail dehydrator it temporarily removes surface moisture and debris from the nail plate. We always use dehydrators before we paint with regular polish, before we use gel polish, and before any enhancement. We always want to take that extra step, either with alcohol, even with a little bit of acetone on a cotton tipped orangewood stick, scrub the nail, get around the sidewalls, and just make sure there's no oils on the nail. And you have to be careful with over filing the nail. When you overfile the nail, you know, when you have to pre-buff to prep the nail for artificial nails or gel polish or regular polish, you need to buff, remove the shine, etch up the nail a little bit. You have to do that very gently because you can cause problems as well. And when you wear the nail down too thin and then you're using all those chemicals on top, you can make the nail very vulnerable and delicate. Coatings are products that cover the nail plate with a hard film. Nail polish, top coats, artificial enhancements, and adhesives are all examples of coatings. There are two main types of coatings. You need to know that there's coatings that polymerize or cure, like an artificial enhancement, and coatings that harden upon evaporation. So that's a physical reaction that happens with regular nail polish. Monomers and polymers. So we deal with monomers and polymers when we do acrylic nails. Trillions of molecules must react to create just one sculpted nail. The molecules in the product join together into extremely long chains containing millions of molecules called polymers. So monomers are the individual molecules, and then they join and join and join, and they make these long chains, and that's the polymer chain. When the polymer chain is knotting and twisting and the heat is creating that chemical change, that's what's happening on the surface of a nail enhancement. That acrylic nail is just millions of little chains twisting and twisting and twisting until they can't twist anymore, and then it hardens and creates the hard surface called polymerization. And some other examples of polymers are Teflon, hair, nylon, and wood. Proteins are also polymers, which means nail plates are polymers, and yes, they're made from protein. The individual molecules that join to make the polymer are called monomers. Amino acids are monomers that join together to make polymers, which is keratin. So in our body, we eat amino acids. Those amino acids create protein. Same thing with, same kind of molecular structure as polymer powder and monomer liquid. Monomer liquid is individual monomer molecules that form to create the polymer chains. The same idea. But monomers need an initiator to trigger polymerization. Initiator molecules energize. Every time an initiator touches a monomer, it excites it with a boost of energy. The monomer tries to get rid of this extra energy by attaching themselves to the tail end of another monomer and passing the energy along. The chain gets longer and billions of monomers can join in less than a second. The chains become tangled and knotted, which explains the thickening of the product, which we talked about. Eventually it's too crowded and the chains can't move around anymore, and then that creates the hard surface. Cross-linking polymer chains. Simple polymer chains are a long chain of monomers attached head to tail. Wrapped in tip adhesives form this type of polymer. The tangled chains are easily unraveled by solvents like acetone or alcohol. These products are easily damaged by sharp impacts and can stain easily. To prevent these problems, UV gels and liquid and powder systems use small amounts of special monomers called cross-linkers. So a cross-linker is a monomer that joins different polymer chains together. Cross-links create strong three-dimensional net-like polymers called nail enhancements. Light and energy. Monomers are energized by initiator molecules, and catalysts give the initiator molecule its energy. Some catalysts use heat as an energy source, while others use light. At the appropriate time, they pass this energy to the initiator, and the reaction begins. Light cured enhancements use ultraviolet light, and all other products use heat energy from the room or the client's hand. It is important to keep these products away from light because sunlight, direct sunlight, and natural room light can start to polymerize the product in the container. So whenever you're using your product and you're not using it at that moment, always just put the lid on. It doesn't have to be tight, just cover it. Nail polishes, top coats, and base coats all form coatings on the nail. They do not polymerize, and no chemical reaction occurs. They work strictly on evaporation. As these solvents evaporate, they leave behind a smooth polymer film. This film can hold pigments which create different colors. Polishes are prone to chipping because they are uncross-linked polymers, whereas linked enhancement polymers are much stronger, like gel polish. Avoiding skin problems. Good nail technicians protect and nurture the nail plate and watch for natural nail damage and infection. There is no nail enhancement product that is better than the other for protecting the natural nail plate. Problems usually occur with poor application, poor maintenance, and poor removal. Educate your client on proper maintenance and be informed and caring when performing services. So these are the types of different dermatitises we need to be aware of. Dermatitis is a medical term for abnormal skin inflammation. Contact dermatitis is the most common skin disease for nail technicians and clients. Irritant contact dermatitis is when the skin is irritated by a substance. Allergic contact dermatitis is when someone becomes allergic to a certain ingredient in a product. Allergic reactions are caused by prolonged or repeated direct skin contact for the client and nail technician. It usually takes 4 to 6 months of repeated exposure before symptoms show. Acrylic reactions are caused by prolonged light or repeated direct skin causing an allergic reaction. Not so much LED light now. Most people don't use UV light. Of repeated exposure most people have switched to LED because there's less chance of reactions and skin sensitivity. Light are capable of causing an allergic. The most likely places for allergies to occur are between the technician's thumb and pointer fingers, on the technician's wrist, palm, or face, on the client's cuticles, fingertips, or sensitive tissues on the underlying nail bed. It is easy to touch a towel with acrylic powder on it or a container with gel resin stuck to it, but it is these small amounts of product that are often transferred to the cheeks and the face, or transferred to the clothes, and then you touch the clothes and then to the face. With each service, the risk of sensitization increases. And you need to know that sensitization is a greatly increased or exaggerated sensitivity to the most likely places for allergies. Irritant contact dermatitis. When the skin is damaged by irritating substances, the immune system floods the tissues with water, trying to dilute the irritant. This is why swelling occurs. The immune system also tells the blood to release chemicals called histamines that enlarge the vessels around the injury, trying to flush out the irritant. Tap water is a very common salon irritant. Hands that remain damp for too long can become large and chapped. Cleansers and detergents strip away sebum and other natural chemicals, leaving the hands dry and damaged. So always make sure when you're washing your hands, you're always moisturizing your hands on a regular basis. Cleansers and detergents. Here are some precautions to keep in mind. Strip away sebum.
I got an echo happening for some reason.
Oh, okay. Are we good now? Uh-oh.
Yeah, we're good.
We're good now?
Yeah.
Okay, let's go. Awesome. Okay, end of the chapter. I hope I wasn't echoing the entire time.
I don't think so.
Okay, good. Precautions to keep in mind: never smooth the nail enhancement with more liquid monomer, or if you do, don't use enough that it's going to bleed into the sidewalls, into the skin or the cuticle. Never use monomer to clean up the edges under the nail or sidewalls. Never touch the hairs of the brush with your fingers. I do that a lot actually, and you shouldn't, but I'm so anal about cleaning my bristles perfectly. As long as you wash your hands right after, it's fine, but just make sure to do that. Never touch any monomer, liquids, UV gels, or adhesives to the skin. Never mix different products to create your own. And always follow manufacturer's instructions. If you avoid contact with certain substances, you and your client will never develop an allergic reaction. Now, a lot of people wear gloves. A lot of people that have developed these allergies have to wear gloves. So if you start wearing gloves now to protect yourself, that would be a good precautionary measure. Other things, wearing masks, wearing glasses, and making sure that if you've done nails all day and you're full of nail dust, washing everything and cleaning everything, towels, linens, anything that you've used, so it's fresh for the next day. Okay? So that's all we're going to do for today. In terms of chemistry, you guys can work on your questions. I'm just going to go over the nail drill section of the manual. I believe that is page, I'm going to read through here. I believe it's page 17. Yeah, 18 on mine, page 18. You guys can read along if you want, or just listen to me read through it all. Okay. The electric drill. Electric nail files are an essential part of a successful nail service. Electric files are safe if used properly and directions are followed. Electric files are generally used for filing down artificial nails, acrylic enhancements, gel enhancements. You can use a rough grip file as well, but a lot of people find that using the drill is easier for them. It's a lot less work and it's faster. You must use the correct angle or you could cause harm. It's called the ring of fire. The barrel can drill into the nail and cause injury from using too much pressure, and the barrel can produce too much heat on the nail plate from keeping the barrel in the same position for too long. So when you're using your drill, you always want to make sure that the drill is completely parallel with the nail plate. If it's on a little bit of an angle and the barrel is the edge of the barrel is putting pressure directly on the nail plate, you could drill right through the nail plate, or you could drill down far enough that you could cause intense sensitivity to chemicals. And if you keep the barrel in one spot for too long, like if you're just going back and forth, especially I find around the cuticle area with lots of nail techs, they go over and over and over quite close to the cuticle, and it becomes quite sensitive, or they can, the barrel can go right into the skin and the soft tissue. You have to be very careful that you're changing positions all the time. So when you're drilling, you can drill back and forth like this, and you're holding the drill like a pen. You can drill back and forth, but make sure you're going middle, high, low, middle, high, low. You're not going back and forth in the same area. When you're pulling down with your drill, middle, side, side, middle, side, side. You're not going middle, middle, middle. More than 3 strokes, or you could cause a heat burn, a ring of fire, or you could just file down too far. Okay, so be very careful with that, and make sure your drill is completely parallel with the nail plate at all times. Micromotor files are the most commonly used files for nail enhancements. They are small motors encased in a box that is portable and can sit on your nail table, and that's what we all have. That's what we're all using. Some can be attached to a foot pedal. When you are buying a drill, remember, a better quality drill will last you a longer time and may come with a warranty. So yeah, there are drills that come with foot pedals. Lots of people prefer those. I don't personally. I like my handheld speed that I can adjust, low, medium, or high. The Petal does give you a little more flexibility with exact RPM speed, but it's, again, personal preference. So terms you need to know. You need to know that RPMs are the revolution per minute. This tells you how many times your bit rotates and hits the nail per minute. Range of speed, range of RPM. It can range from 0 to 35,000. You should use your drill between 5,000 and 15,000 RPMs. Torque, what keeps the drill bit spinning as you apply pressure to the nail plate. When it spins, you want it to meet resistance. If it's spinning in the wrong direction, it's going to roll with you. You want it to roll against you, so there's resistance. Spinning direction, most drills spin counterclockwise, but you can have the option to change the direction. And then foot control, if you're using it, allows you to control the speed that way too. Now there's lots of different bits, and every bit does something different. A bit is a piece on the end of the drill that is used on the nail. A drill bit can be used for filing down a nail or cleaning under the free edge, or drilling around the sidewalls and cuticle. So bits come in lots of shapes, sizes. There's the barrel, the cone, the flat tipped, the football, the bullet, and there's a lot more. When using a bit with sandpaper on it, you usually need to replace it after every use. So those are the ones that came in your kits with your drills. In the little bag you have, it's like little barrels with sandpaper. Those are the best for filing down nails, filing down acrylic. You don't want to use those ones on the natural nail though. And those ones do need to be replaced with every client. If you're just using it on yourself or you're using it on the same person, then just spray it with alcohol and reuse it, but you don't want to reuse it on different clients. Clean the bits with hot soapy water and then you can disinfect. So there's also bits for natural nails. You can use the bits for natural nails when you're doing pedicures. You can clean up the cuticle line. You can get rid of ridging or uneven surfaces. Again though, with a natural nail you have to be very careful not to apply too much pressure. The drill bits for natural nails aren't as abrasive, you'll find, so using those for artificial nail use, it doesn't work very well, but you can use bits for natural nail for the nail plate and for callus removal. You can get thicker, bigger bits, and you can actually remove callus and soften the skin around the toes as well. So basically natural nail bits are used for polishing and smoothing. They can remove ridges and also add shine to the nail. They're usually made from rubber material that is either flat tipped or pointed. Then there's the sanding papers placed around the end of the bit to drill down nails. There's the diamond bits, which are metal bits that have diamond fragments adhered to them, and they come in different grits. Backfill bits, these have a shorter barrel so they can trench out the regrowth area and smooth it out. Abrasive stone bits, white, lavender, blue, or pink ceramic stones. They don't sanitize that easy, but it's an option. Pedicure bits, again, usually diamond bits made into larger barrels. And you can remove dry skin, callus, off the heel, off the toes with that. And then there's jewelry bits. So that's the tiny little pointed barrel that you can drill right through the free edge of the nail, and then you can put jewelry on the tips of the nail. And again, holding your drill, you want to hold the drill like a pencil. Keep the barrel parallel with the client's nail, and do not drill on an angle. I don't know if you guys have played with your drills yet, or if you're comfortable using them, but if you haven't, I want you to practice using those. And hopefully today you can get a chance to do that, and then tomorrow during our Zoom, we can kind of troubleshoot together if you have any questions, okay? Okay. That's it really. I'm going to do some nail art demos with acrylic. I'm going to show you how to do some 3D nail art with 3D acrylic. And next week, I can go into more detail about how to use a drill. You can't really use the drill if you're holding your nail or you're using your little finger to have the nail propped into. So I'll probably end up doing some artificial nails on myself, and then I can use the drill on myself and show you the exact angles to use the drill on. Okay, so right now let's open it up for questions. If you guys have any questions about the lessons, chemistry and the drill, and then I'll give you a few minutes. I want you to get your acrylic stuff. We're going to go right into 3D acrylic nail art. So your acrylic brush, all your different colors, if you have different colored acrylic, your nail tips, your abrasives, and that's it really. And a top coat, just a regular top coat. We just read the chemistry chapter, and then we just finished with the drill portion of the chapter. So the drill portion is page 17. It talks about the drill just at the end of the manicure chapter. Okay. So 3D acrylic nail art is really fun, and it looks really cute on the nail. The great thing about the 3D acrylic is you can embed it in the nail, and you can also put it on top of the nail. So it's either enclosed or on the surface. The nail chemistry quiz should be put into your folders this week. So you guys will you'll see that this week. Let's see. Yeah, you guys have nail chemistry and skin disorders quizzes due this week. So they should be in your folders already. If not, Anna will put them in. Okay, guys. I'm going to show you how to do a 5-petal flower, okay? Knowing how to do flower petals, really popular. You can do 3 petals on the corner, you can do petals right on the tip on a stiletto nail, or you can do really cute 5-petal flowers all over the nail, okay? So once you've mastered the actual petal and how to mold it, you can start experimenting more with that. I will, if there's time, show you also how to do a rose. And then you guys can practice that throughout the week, okay? And then every week we're gonna learn something new. And if you guys have any ideas or you wanna see something, just talk to me about it in the Zoom tomorrow, and then I can try to incorporate that into next week's lesson, okay? Great, okay. So I have some examples here with me. These are some of the nails I've done before. I'll put those up for you guys to see in a little while. Let me get my roses. I love doing the pastel roses. We're having like a pastel yellow base with pink and blue roses. Super cute. But we're just gonna stick with the basic petals first. So we're going to get our tips. Just buff the nail a little bit, just a little bit. I just find that the acrylic sticks better. Most acrylic and gel chemicals won't stick to shiny surfaces. I have my monomer liquid. Now there are different brushes you can use when you're doing nail art. This is a newer acrylic brush. If your acrylic brush is still in good shape and you haven't wrecked your bristles and your brush still comes to a nice tip, then you can do all of the nail art with your builder brush. But there are other types of brushes you can get. You can buy them online. You can get a whole set of brushes like this for like $10 or less. You can go on AliExpress and you can see it's just a lot smaller, and the point on it is a lot sharper. Okay, so I'm going to use this brush, but just know that you have options, and you can get smaller, even smaller brushes than this to do extremely detailed nail art. Okay, let's take the lids off. The nail quiz, the chemistry quiz, you're doing on your own. So you go into your folder and you can do your chemistry quiz. And then when I go in and I do my marking, or when Anna goes in, we will mark it. So you can do it on your own time. You can do your chemistry quizzes, any quizzes on your own time. It doesn't have to be during the Zoom. As long as it's complete within that week that Anna has sent it to you, then you're fine. Okay? And I want everyone to be practicing nail art today. I want everybody to be practicing 3D nail art. And then I want to talk about it tomorrow and troubleshoot with you. Okay, so you can do a 2-color method petal, you can do a 1-color method petal. 1-color method is using 1 color. 2-color method. 3-color method is using obviously 2 or 3 different colors to create a shape. So I'm going to start with, why don't I do 2-color method? Okay. So all you need to do, you have to be very careful, especially with pigmented acrylic powder. It is very dense and it picks up a lot of powder. And when you're doing nail art, you only want tiny little bits of powder. You literally want to go in just with the tip. Otherwise, the nail art looks too big and bulky, and you want it to be cute and small. And okay, so let's do white first. Amir, is that good? Can you see me?
I can't see it, but I don't know if they.
Yeah, let me know if I'm in the proper spot for you guys to see on this angle. Okay. So let's do a little bit of white, a little bit of gray, place it. This is really small, so you might have a hard time seeing this. Clean the brush. So you don't want to place your ball and you don't want it to flatten. If it starts to flatten, it's too wet and you're not going to be able to get a good shape. You can still form it and shape it, but you want it to have some firmness to it. So I'm getting rid of all of the monomer liquid in my brush. And my point of my brush is always pointing to the middle of the flower. So if this is going to be my petal in the middle, I'm going to do a little corner flower. Okay, there's one petal. So you can see the contour with the white and the gray, the purple gray. It looks really nice. So just make sure if you're doing 3 or more petals, you always want to make sure that the white part of the ball is facing the inside and the tip will always be purple. Okay, so I know that I always do my white first and then my purple. So when I place it on the nail, I have to remember that the white is going to go on the inside. Really important that you don't use too much monomer. I mean, you have to use enough to pick the product up, but don't play with it when it goes on the nail. Drop it and then get rid of all of that extra monomer liquid on your brush. Okay, get rid of all of the moisture. Remove these. Okay. Now we're going to contour our petal. So I'm literally just, with the tip of my brush facing the middle of the flower, putting pressure at the base of the petal, pushing out, and then pulling up just to give it a little tip on the end. Okay? And that's just the style I'm doing today. You can do any kind of petal. Okay, now I'm going to do the third one in the corner. So these are the two I'm using. I'm going to go in. A tiny, tiny amount. If you're not happy with your bead or it doesn't look right, just get rid of it and get another one. I think I need a little more product. Dipping into the white. Now if you have too much, you can place your bead down and then pick it up again, and you can leave that little excess amount on the paper towel. Okay. Okay, our third petal. Getting rid of all of my excess monomer liquid. Okay. So those are my petals. So it's a cute little petal cluster right on the free edge. And now I can add whatever I want in the middle. So if I want to add, say, a deco or a rhinestone, and I'm building this in the nail, then I can actually apply anything I want on here with a little bead of wet acrylic, okay? If I'm doing it on the surface and I want to use glue, that's fine, but this is inside the nail, so say I want to enclose all of this with clear acrylic, then I can just use acrylic. So I'm going to use this little decal. So I'm going to get a little bead, not white, but clear. Okay. Place it where you want it, and then you can pick up your decal. A little big for that, but that's okay. I think we're gonna use, it's too big for that, so we need a smaller decal. So let me see if I have anything smaller in here. Let's okay, I'm going to do a pink one. A little pink bead. So again, place your acrylic, pick up your bead. Place it where you want it, and then just let it polymerize. So again, I can enclose all this with clear acrylic, or I can do these types of designs on the surface. Now, if I wanted to add a leaf, say we want a little green leaf, use this color. Again, I can do a two-tone. I can do two different colors of blue or green. Why don't we do white and green? So I want to do a little white, so that's clear. Get rid of that. I want to do a little white. Green. Take out your moisture. Let your ball harden a little bit. If you go in to shape your bead too quickly, then you're not going to have an opportunity to give it much definition. Can't see clearly. It's too, oh, it's too far away. Okay. Okay, there's one little leaf. Add a little white. Can you see okay?
Not much more. Could you push it was part of it? So that's the other part of it. Is that what somebody said?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Are they watching on their phone or something?
Yeah. Don't know. Okay, that should be better. Another leaf. See how I keep adding? I can add, once my bead is on the nail, I can add more white or I can add some more green. I'm not going to start forming it right away, again, because I don't want it to bleed. So to give it contour, I'm applying pressure right in the middle. I can use my brush to kind of push the corners out, the edges out on the edge of the leaf. And then brushing it right up to the tip. Okay? So I want you guys to practice your petals. I want you to practice your corner petals. I want you to practice doing a 5-petal flower and putting either a decal or a little bit of glitter in the middle. I want you to practice doing leaves, and this is just one version of them. There's lots of different styles that you can do. I'm going to do one other demo today. I'm going to show you how to do the rose, and then you guys will have a lot to practice for the next couple of days, okay? So that's what we just did right now. These are the roses. They're super cute. They're really easy to do. Okay. Just going to buff your nail. Okay, so with the roses, again, we're going to do two-color method. You can do blue and white, pink and white, or yellow and white. And you can do cute little leaves on it if you want, lime green ones or bright green. And you do it in layers. So we're going to do the first base layer. What colors do we want? Blue. We'll do a blue and white one first. So again, white, but a little more. Blue. Place your perfect little bead here. It's firm still, that's good. Take any excess liquid out of your bristles. And we're just gonna go right in the middle. And start flattening out the edges. Okay. So just like that, that's your first layer. You can do flowers like this as well. If you wanted to do 1, 2, 3, just like this, and then you can place a little rhinestone in the middle. That's really cute too. For some easy to do basic flowers, but the rose is really cute. So now we are going to build up, and we're going to do the exact same thing. Another layer, maybe one more layer, and then we're done. It's really simple. White, blue, drop it, and white. Okay, just leave it. Just let it polymerize, harden a little bit. You really want your edges, you can see here, to be really defined, but not crusty looking. Okay, let's try. If you poke it in the middle and it closes right away, it's still too wet. You want to be able to poke it in the middle and it stays open. Then you know that you can form your edges. That's a bit better. Okay, same thing. Middle, pull, middle, pull, middle, pull. Bring your edges out. Okay, second layer. I'm going to do more white with this one. Too much. Drop it in the middle. Wait. So now my area is getting a little smaller. So with my brush, with this one, I just put it in the middle and push down. And see how the bristles just pulled those petals out and around. Looking pretty good. I'm gonna do another layer. Pick it up. Okay, so we've got another little bead in there, which looks cute. Actually, you could keep it that way, but I like to have all the petals kind of looking like they're curling around. So we'll wait. It is very time consuming when you're figuring out your ratio of powder to monomer, how long you have to wait. In order to do really detailed work, you want to be able to have that definition. If all your edges just flatten into the other, it's not going to look realistic. Okay, okay. So that's that. I'm going to put one more tiny little ball, white. I'm just going to do white in the middle and just a tiny little poke in the middle, and then we're done. That actually, it's good the way it is, but let's do one more tiny little bead. Get rid of all of your liquid. Okay, so you see we've got that in there. Perfect. Okay, so that is a super easy way to do an amazing looking rose. I like doing like 3 in a row with different colors. It's really cute if you do like a really light pink base or a light yellow base and you do like green and blue roses. You can do a cluster of roses at the cuticle line. So practice your petal flowers and leaves and practice your roses. And I'll put some leaves on the rose. And that's it for today. Oh, two more minutes. Okay. There's a cute little leaf. And that's it for today. So hopefully you guys can practice these techniques, and I'll open it up for questions now if you guys have any questions. Hopefully we move the camera a little closer, so hopefully that's a lot clearer for you. There. Can you see all of those, Amir? Yeah. Good. Okay, guys. Just make sure you finish those quizzes this week. And I'll see you tomorrow during the Zoom. Give you 1 more minute to ask me some questions. You're welcome. Enjoy the rest of your day. Oh yeah, we're gonna be doing lots of demos. We're gonna be doing lots of nail art. Probably every week you'll have a demo for sure. Yeah, this is just 2 styles of flowers. There's hundreds of different designs. And like I said too, if you guys have ideas or different designs that you want me to show you or that we can work on together, just let me know. Yeah, there's the weekend class, and then we're done for the day. Yeah. And you guys have all the links, so you guys can join in on any of the classes anytime. Okay, guys, that's it for today. Make sure you practice, and I want you to take pictures and send them to me so I can see what you're doing, see your progress, and I will talk to you tomorrow. Okay.